Hello everyone and welcome back to Fantasy Forge. I'm Cameron Holt. And if you're like me, you probably have a bunch of little buildings that you built that you use for D&D, but not as much stuff to put inside of those buildings for when you're using them. But don't even worry, because today I'm going to show you how to start sprucing up the insides of your D&D buildings by building some of these miniature bookshelves.
Yeah, look at it. It's so cute and tiny. It's like a little shelf with books and it's got scrolls and stuff. Wow, that's crazy.
It's easy to do, and all you're going to need is some dollar store foam core, maybe some paper if you want scrolls, and some paint. So, without further ado, let's get started.
First thing you want to do is take your dollar store foam core and peel the paper off of both sides. Then find your most wobbly ruler and cut out 2 unused rectangles and realize that you're dumb before cutting out just a full strip at the size that you need. You can use this to cut out the pieces that you'll need to construct your bookcase. If you're like me, you can pause halfway through to set them up and make sure that this is what a bookcase actually looks like. So far, so good. We'll cut out the rest of the pieces and use a wire brush to texture them to give them a wood grain feel. No worries if you don't have a wire brush, you can use a dull pencil, a ballpoint pen, or even just an X-Acto knife to get the same desired effect. Then it's time to glue those bad boys together. You can use a right angle if you've got one to make sure that everything is lining up properly, but it's not necessary. I tend to not measure things very much with a ruler when I'm working. I usually just compare things to the piece and make cuts as needed. Don't neglect your edges either. Here I'm measuring out a piece that's going to fit inside and be the actual shelf of the bookshelf. Don't forget to give it texture before you glue it in place. Now we'll go ahead and glue on the bottom to this bookshelf, and then we'll cut out one more little strip. This is going to fit in kind of at a right angle to that first shelf to make a little scroll holding section for this bookshelf. Nice, first one down. That was pretty quick, so I'm going to go ahead and make another slightly fancier one, after coating with a nice chunky medium base. This is just a matte Mod Podge mixed with black paint, a la Black Magic Craft, to get a nice base coat and a seal at the same time. Now we're going to repeat all of those steps again, but using different sizes to make a slightly larger bookshelf. Both of the shelves that I made are about 1 inch in width and 1 to 2 inches in length, and maybe 2 or 3 inches tall. I don't entirely remember. For this one, we're going to take a little bit of foam, measure it out so that it fits across the top of the bookshelf, and then carve into it with a pencil and then a hobby knife to cut out just a little excessive bit of filigree to make it look fancier. I went with kind of a fancy swirly M shape, but you can do pretty much whatever you want. Don't forget to texture it though. Once it's cut out, you can go ahead and glue it down to the top. From here, you can cut out another shelf to fit into this one. Make sure that it's nice and level. There we go. Wipe away any excess glue, and you got a fancy little bookshelf. Well done. After giving that a coat of some black Mod Podge, we're going to go ahead and start painting. Now, since we've already got a black base coat, You can do a slightly wetter dry brush for these, and let some of that black texture show through to really show off the wood grain that you spent so much time carving. From here we'll do an actual dry brush after they've dried, where we just take some lighter brown, or kind of a tannish color, and just hit the raised edges to really show off that wood grain texture. Now, these are looking pretty good. But you know what'll make them look even better? Some books and some scrolls. So let's get to work on those. For the books, I'm just using some more of that same foam core, cutting out a little strip that fits onto the shelf, cutting it down to size just so it sticks out a little bit, then using that to measure out other strips, and these are going to be our books. From there, I'm using the world's tiniest file. You could also just use a nail file for this, or an X-Acto blade if you really feel like it, to go through and round off the edges. You can even use the edge of your file to go in and make some little indentions for the spine of the book. Then, using a hobby blade, if you want to get really detailed, you can go in there and make some little slices to make the pages. I cut these down because I didn't like how ridiculously long they were and wanted them to be more book-shaped. From there, do some more finishing texture before it's time to paint these boys up. I didn't bother sealing them before painting because I'm impatient, but you can do so if you would like. Once they've all been painted up and dried out, I'm using some more hot glue to just slap those bad boys in place. Remember to remove any excess glue before moving on to the next book. You can use an X-Acto knife to remove any excess glue that you forgot to get rid of with your finger, and then also to help you with placing. I even put some books in at a little bit of an angle to give it a more organic feel. Do the same for your second bookshelf, and then it's time to make some scrolls. I used tracing paper because it's what I had on hand, but you can really use probably any kind of paper. I'm just cutting out some little strips, and I want these scrolls to look old and aged, so I'm crinkling them up before unfolding them to get some nice little wrinkles and used look to them. Then, refusing to find another jar, I'm pouring some brown wash into this old pottery cap that I made. And then applying that liberally to the scrolls. Once those are dry, it's time to roll them up and glue them into place. I'm once again using hot glue to get everything nice and secure. And you can stop here if you want, but I want to go a little bit fancier since these are for a wizard's tower. So I'm cutting out another thin strip of tracing paper and painting it blue. Then I'm wrapping that strip around each scroll, to make them look like they have a little ribbon case. Once that's done, you can start gluing your scrolls together. Then you can glue them in place onto the bookshelf. Don't forget to use an X-Acto or some tweezers to get everything nice and secure. Then it's time for one more overly epic reveal. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, subscribe to Fantasy Forge. It really helps out the channel. And if you really want to help us out with the YouTube algorithm, leave a like and comment on this video as well, so that we can get our reach out to more people and build our ever-growing community. I'm going to be doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. We're coming up pretty quickly on 500 now, so subscribe to be a part of that, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. But until then, stay safe out there, adventurers.